Southampton City Primary Care Trust, which is the organisation responsible for improving the health of the local population, has asked South Central Strategic Health Authority to consider adjusting the level of fluoride in water to improve dental health in Southampton. The SHA is therefore consulting on the proposal, which will affect parts of Southampton and South West Hampshire. Sandra White, you are ideally qualified to talk about fluoride. What's your background?
Well, my background is as a clinical dentist. I was working in a surgery for about 20 years and now I'm a consultant in dental public health.
What's the current state of oral health in Southampton? It's not good, is it?
No, sadly it is poor, despite a number of initiatives from the local primary care trust have tried lots of things to try and improve it. But it is poor, and it's worse. In the 5-year-old survey that they did, they found out that the dental decay rates were higher than in the rest of the country, the national average. And the impact of that is pain, obviously, and treatment that's needed. And last year there were around 500 children that had to have a general anaesthetic and 3,000 teeth taken out. So that's the sort of impact of it, really.
It must be very distressing for dentists to have to treat very young children with very poor teeth.
Yes, I think if you asked any dentist what it's like to treat little children that need treatment, they'll all be able to give you an example, dentists, dental nurses, people that are in the surgery, of how upsetting it can be, really. Nobody likes injections and having extractions, but with little children it's particularly upsetting. And I can remember the first time I cried as a dentist was when I came back off maternity leave, and I had to take out all of the teeth of a 4-year-old that had got just decay everywhere. And I remember taking the teeth out. I was very professional, and then I cried because I'd just come back from maternity leave, and there was this little tot who'd had to have all their teeth out, and it is upsetting. And it does focus you about trying to think about how you could prevent that. Rather than treat it, rather than take teeth out and put fillings in, how could you actually prevent that decay in the first place?
Sandra, what areas would be covered by the proposed scheme?
There would be small parts of Totton, Netley and Eastleigh, and then a big chunk of Southampton.
Do you have figures that tell you how many teeth could potentially be saved if fluoride was added to water?
Well, when we had an independent economic evaluation of the costs and these sort of issues looked into, they worked out that over 20 years it would be around 36,000 individual teeth of children that could be saved by the fluoridation.
How much fluoride would be added to the water supply if the proposals are approved?
Well, there is some fluoride already in the water, quite naturally in Southampton, and that's at a level of around 0.08 parts per million. And what would be happening in order to make the optimum level to reduce dental decay is that would go up to 1 part per million. And to put that into some kind of perspective, when you look at your toothpaste, the toothpaste that's most effective is around 1,500 parts per million. And you find it quite naturally in tea. You'd find 9 parts per million in a cup of tea, and you find it in other foodstuffs, and naturally in water, and naturally in bottled water. So as I say, it's adjusted to 1 parts per million.
Where else in the world has fluoridated water?
Well, a huge amount of America is fluoridated. 300 million people worldwide are, and there's a big chunk in America. In Australia, in Europe, we have Spain and Ireland that have fluoride in the water. And in England as well, there are 6 million people in England that have water that's been adjusted to the optimum level.
So Southampton wouldn't be the first place in Britain, in the UK, to be fluoridated then?
No, for decades the West Midlands and the North East parts there have had water adjusted to the right level. Some
people believe, don't they, that fluoride is added to water already, perhaps across the south of England, perhaps in Southampton?
Yes, from opinion polls, most people, if you ask them, is the fluoride in your water, they feel that it's already been, added to the water. But that's not the case. It's probably about 10% in this country has got fluoride.
Sandra, is there a downside to fluoridation?
Yes, scientific evidence would suggest that there's an increase in something called fluorosis. And fluorosis affects your teeth, and it looks like a pearly white flecking of the teeth. And dentists can notice it. People don't always know they've got it themselves, but it can be noticeable.
Critics might say that fluoridation is a form of mass medication, if you like. Do they have a point?
It's a public health measure. It's a preventive public health measure. And in the same way as adding folic acid to bread, in the same way as reducing smoking in public places, mass immunisation, that's why it's being carried out. It's to prevent disease. And it's around the common good, really, to try and do things for the most vulnerable in society.
People are very cynical these days. They might believe the Strategic Health Authority has already made its decision and this whole consultation process is just a sham.
No, I mean, this is a consultation. This is to find out what the public think. It will be the Strategic Health Authority Board that will make the decision in the future. And to do that, they will weigh up the scientific research, public opinion, all of the views of people, and try and make a balanced decision that will be the best, really, for Southampton.
Will it be a genuine consultation? Because I think sometimes people feel it's a sham.
Yes, I know what you mean. It is a genuine consultation. We do want to find out what people think. Up until now, we've had what we've called an engagement, where we've gone out and asked people what sort of things they want in the consultation, so that we're hopefully providing the information that we know people want. When we've been out before, they'll say, oh, you know, how many teeth will be saved, or where's it going to be? So that's why we've tried to build what information we've got now on what we found out so far.
Sandra, what if the majority of people come down against the addition of fluoride to the water supply?
Well, this is a consultation, but it isn't a straightforward vote. We have to look at the balance of the evidence with this as well. So it is about what people feel, but the Strategic Health Authority Board will also have to look at why they feel the way they feel and whether there is good scientific basis behind their concerns. And so it's about weighing, you know, the evidence with people's views.
So how can people make their views known to the Strategic Health Authority?
There's a variety of ways, but ideally we'd like their views in writing. And they can email us, or they can write a letter and send it to us. We have a free post address so that it won't cost them anything. And if they want information, as I say, they can look on the internet. We've got a website, and there will be a helpline in order to send people information if they need it. But we genuinely do want to know what people think and why they think what they think. So if they could write it down, we can then look at that and analyse it and help the Strategic Health Authority Board to make the decision.
Sandra White, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Well, the consultation process runs between the 8th of September and the 19th of December 2008. This is your chance to have your say, to tell the Strategic Health Authority what you think.